Alright, guys, this is Dave, and that's Kage. Welcome to our Star Wars Mandalorian discussion podcast. This is going to be Chapter 12, The Siege. Alright, hit the hyperdrive and let's do this thing. Alright, guys, welcome to the discussion. First off, real quick, I gotta hit Kage with a real quick surprise. I bought something that I think he's gonna like to add to my collection. Baby Yoda with the canister. Oh yeah.
I love it and I hate it at the same time, and I can't believe they've made something like that.
I love it, and I think that's a good point. Like I think that he may be valuable in the future. We're going to be like, wait, they made a toy about that?
Yeah, off that episode.
Why would they do that?
So controversial.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right. So, anyways, back on track. Stay on target. All right. Chapter 12, The Siege. First off, shout out to the director. It's Carl Weathers. Who, if you don't know, he plays Grief Karga in the episode. So that's really cool. You know.
I love that people actually in the show are the ones directing the different episodes. I think that's the coolest thing.
They have a lot of stock in what's going on, for sure. So, plot synopsis. The Mandalorian rejoins old allies for a new mission. Before you get into any of that, though, you get to see Baby Yoda mechanic. We've got a video clip of that, right?
Oh, yeah. Like,
yeah, honestly, I think that Baby Yoda needs to go to school, which is exactly what he does.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He goes to school just to bully other children and steal their snacks.
The blue milk cookies.
No, blue. No.
They've gotta be. They gotta be delicious, man.
No.
Yeah, look at that face. That's the face that stole your cookies.
That's the look of what you're gonna do about it. You gonna come over here and take it?
If you could get past his cuteness, the protocol droid that was teaching class was actually teaching some pretty cool things. We got an image of the map, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So she's talking about first she's talking about the core, which is in the center. Okay, that's all the main planets of the Republic. This is Coruscant, which I never thought about. Coruscant, it's in the core. It makes sense. And then there's also Chandrilia, which is the birthplace of the Resistance, and also the New Republic. The birthplace of the Resistance and the birthplace of Mon Mothma, who leads the Resistance. So that's really cool. It's kind of world building, but where we're at in Mandalorian, way out into the bottom right of the map, you kind of see Tatooine over there, Dagobah actually down towards the bottom, and we're kind of in between, bottom right.
Pretty much sticking to the outer rim for the most part.
For sure. And when they talk about that outer rim in class, they talk about the Akadisi's Maelstrom, which surrounds Kessel and its 3 moons, which if you've seen Solo, you get to see this firsthand. Just really cool information that they're teaching their kids that I like to refresh around personally,
No, I never really thought about that technically the viewers could be learning from this. I want to know what the purpose of teaching them this, though, would be. Like, is this geography class? Is this history class? I can't imagine they're teaching the children about the wars right now.
It's an excellent question. I don't know what class period they're in. It's for us viewers, I just think it's excellent world building. They're tying everything together with a nice bow in Mandalorian, and they're just showing off. They're saying, hey, look at all this stuff that we know that you probably know about. If you're paying attention, we know about it too, and I love that when shows do that. So next, though, we're talking about, I love that. Dude, he's great.
It's good credit art.
He's great.
And I still think that I think we're going to see Baby Yoda eating something in every episode. Every episode has a mini episode of Good Eats with Baby Yoda.
I like that theory. I support that theory. Let's make it happen. What do we have next in the dock here?
All right, up next.
Oh,
we got the the clone tubes and the chambers in the abandoned Imperial base, or supposedly abandoned.
I think that it looks like Snoke. I think that it has a Snoke kind of vibe to it. I think that that's kind of where we're going here. Is that that's cloning and future for what we see in the sequel trilogy. I think that's what they
Yeah,
call it.
yeah,
Yeah.
sequel
So
trilogy.
I
He's
think that's
a
what the cool kids call it on the streets.
prototype Snoke. But
Yeah.
the whole thing in this scene is that they encounter those agents that the moment they walk in, they say destroy it, and they blast the console like they're trying to hide what's going on, and they dig into the console a little bit more and find a hololog about the midichlorian count. I got that right here.
Great clip. I like listening to that Doctor what he's saying there. The big thing that I took away right away, I heard the M count, and I was like, "This is midichlorians. This is what like Qui-Gon was talking about in Episode 1." You know, I mean, what did you take away from this guy talking?
I mean, that's all it could be, but the it explains why, or I guess the scene really explains why Moff Gideon is trying to capture the child, as they want his blood because they're trying to transfuse it with what looks to be clones. So they're trying to create what, force sensitive beings.
Or a vessel for Palpatine potentially. You know, by the time you get to say Rise of Skywalker, you know, that's something that he may be looking for. But
That makes sense. But
both are great theories.
do you think Palpatine is running things from the shadows right now, or do you think they're even aware that he's even still alive?
I do. I think above Moff Gideon somewhere, someone is pulling the strings, and I think it's always Palpatine. He's the king of the long game. He through 9 movies,
I mean,
it's all
he's
been him.
the beginning,
So
the middle, and the end, really.
he sure is. He is the king of the long game, and I will stick to that.
He's shadow puppeteering like everything. It's crazy to think. Uh, but yeah, no, I wonder though if they're just trying to recreate force sensitive beings, because as far as we know, there aren't any left, or no Jedi, no Sith. As far as most people know, Luke's gone, Vader's gone,
Yeah.
Palpatine's gone. So I wonder if this is their way of they're trying to get their power back. This is their way of, we'll build an army of super soldiers essentially.
Speaking of that super soldiers, you see what I think is those on this ship right here. You were right last week in your prediction that we would be seeing this ship based off of a Topps trading card, and
Yeah,
here it is.
yeah, and I didn't expect to see it so soon, but that ship is huge, and I'm hoping we get to see more of this fleet and see what it'll do. And actually, I'm wondering if at some point, I doubt they'll be found for quite some time, but I would love to see a big space battle against a rebellion fleet,
Definitely
or
cool.
I
I
guess
would
New
love to see that.
Republic fleet. My bad. So, but yeah,
So right in here, we also see that Mando's ship has been bugged. You kind of picked that up earlier in the show, but it is confirmed at this point. She bug mechanic person kind of checks in and says that they were successful in bugging the ship, and that's kind of the end of that. Cuts into the next scene, which is the shot of all the soldiers. Yes.
yep, it's
Yep.
Moff Gideon and walking into this bay full of what looks to be big sets of armor or even possibly robots, and I believe they are dark troopers. I don't know what else they could be, but I do know that if you look at Moff Gideon, his outfit is very similar to Vader's. I feel like he's trying to be like Vader 2.0 right now, pre Kylo Ren. Like if
For
Kylo saw
sure.
him, that Kylo
Oh,
would
he'd be
go
mad.
into a rage and he would smash him against the wall, and it wouldn't
Kylo
nobody would
Rage.
Kylo would nobody would no one would be happy. But anyways, I mean, yeah, with it being dark troopers, do you know the history of the dark troopers?
I was curious myself if they were when I looked at this, I was like, are these people alive? Are they waiting to be injected with some kind of force serum to be completed? Are they droids? I was I'm curious. I know enough to be interested.
Oh, I think the Dark Troopers themselves are droids, and it's to me it's confirmed by the episode's audio description. If you turn that on in the episode, and it states rows of similar compartments sprawl throughout the bay, with an engineer in white coveralls tending to immobilized Dark Troopers contained within. And it's if it was just armor, I mean, yeah, it could be an engineer, I suppose, but mentioning that they're immobilized leads me to believe that they are their own beings and that it's got to be a droid. And historically, if you look back at where the Dark Troopers are shown in Star Wars media, they were droids. They actually have 3 different phases that they've shown. They start off like real skinny with a vibroblade and a shield, and they eventually work their way up to being like a big brute. So I think this is somewhere kind of in between. But they started development on them sometime during the Clone Wars, if I remember correctly, all the way up through Vader. Because Vader was the one who approved it shortly after the Death Star program.
Okay, very interesting.
I hope we'll get to see these in use at some point. I'm sure we will. I can't imagine they would tease something this big.
You picture just a huge battle with all of them and Moff Gideon versus Ahsoka. Your double white sabers,
I think Ahsoka's the only one that could possibly handle these things. I mean, there's no other. I mean, maybe an army of Mandalorians, but if I remember correctly,
sure,
there's one of the first testing sites for this. I believe it was either the Vader comics or it was in the mobile RTS game, which is apparently considered canon, where they actually sent a group of these Dark Troopers down to a city, and it was a rebellion holdout, and not only did they absolutely take out all the rebels, but they actually killed off pretty much all of the civilians within the town as well. Like they have no humanity, no nothing. They just kill. So I can't imagine, anybody but a really good warrior could take them out if they could take out a whole rebellion hideout.
They are no joke.
No, not
for sure. You can tell that from this image. I wouldn't want to mess with them. So we got a little bonus, right? There was a crew cameo.
Not the crew you'd think though. It was a crew member of the show making the show. If you look there on the left-hand side of the screen, you see a t-shirt, watch, blue jeans, just kind of
zoom
tucked in
there. That. That's great.
And
it's so funny.
I hope that Star Wars community gives some sort of lore to this guy. Similar to another guy in one of the other movies where he was supposed to be carrying a container full of Beskar, or it's the same container that they give Mando the Beskar in when they bring it in season 1. And the guy was actually running with an ice cream maker under his arm, and they didn't alter it. They left it as is. And the Star Wars community accepted it, and then they made lore for it. And now he has his own official Wikipedia page.
It's the next Game of Thrones coffee cup for sure.
I don't think it's as bad. I didn't notice it during the watch. I had to go back and find this.
It's a whole person.
It's only it's a half a person. There's half people all the time in Game of Thrones.
I honestly think that it may be Dave Filoni. He's put himself into more shots.
He's just sneaking in hey, where's my other cameo? Because when they're back
Easter eggs.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is his way of getting the episode since they didn't put him on Navarro towards the end.
I don't think he would be. Okay, as much as I love this theory, I don't think Dave Filoni would make such a mistake. He's way too good.
I agree with that.
All right, guys, I think that probably wraps this one up. Just remember, this was not the podcast you were looking for.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching our video. If you liked it, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel to keep up with our current work. If you missed the previous video, you can check it out right here.